Welcome, everyone, to the NoDQ.com live recap of Monday Night Raw, March 10th, Mario Day. This week's Raw was in Madison Square Garden. It was a packed house. WWE actually used the small set. They had close to 20,000 people in the building as the road to WrestleMania is really heating up. For WrestleMania, a lot to talk about on this show. Let's get to it. Chat room, people watching live, leave your comments on YouTube. Let me know what you thought about Raw, what you liked, what you didn't like. Let's get into the show. We kicked off with the number one contender for the World Heavyweight Championship, Jey Uso versus Grayson Waller. It was a basic match. You had Austin Theory out there, and he tried to interfere. Waller got the upper hand for a bit. He hit Uso with this rolling flatliner, but then Jey made a comeback. He took out Theory, and then he pinned Waller with the spear. No surprise here whatsoever. And then after the match, Austin Theory attacked Uso from behind. Jey was able to fight him off, took him out with the spear and then the Uso splash. But then Gunther came in, the World Heavyweight Champion Gunther, with a sleeper hold, took out Jey, left Jey laying. He put his foot over Jey, and he stood tall over a fallen main event Jey Uso. It was very by the numbers here. And then they announced for next week, it will be Jey Uso versus Austin Theory. Kind of feels like filler to me. I was hoping they would come up with something a little bit more creative for the build. I hate to say it, but I almost feel like this world title match is an afterthought. It doesn't feel like a main event caliber match for WrestleMania. And I hate to say that because I was somebody who defended the decision to have Jey Uso win the title win the Royal Rumble, I should say, and get the title match at WrestleMania. Hopefully they can heat things up with these two, but the Gunther beats him down. Jey Uso beats Waller one week. He beats Theory the next week. Yeah, it's kind of predictable. Shout out to 2005 MJESOM. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. With a $2 super chat says, Jey Uso isn't ready, still wrestles like a tag guy. I think Jey Uso's ready. I just feel like creatively they're not going all out with this storyline, and I'm not sure what they can do at this point. I feel like in the end, it's going to be overshadowed by some of the other matches at WrestleMania. Jey is massively over, and I'm always a firm believer in the idea that you strike the iron when it's hot. When Jey Uso's hot, you take advantage of it and you push him to the moon. You strap the rocket to him. I'm not against that. I just feel like they need a stronger storyline for this WrestleMania match. Hopefully they can come up with something to really get some real heat for this and get people thinking, yeah, this is a WrestleMania caliber match, and not just a WrestleMania caliber match, but a match that you can argue deserves to be in the main event spot. And I'm wondering if it's going to be in the main event spot. More on that in just a little bit. We had a video package to hype up the CM Punk versus Seth Rollins steel cage match, headlining Monday Night Raw in the Garden. Logan Paul came to the ring for a promo. Remember, AJ Styles was going to call out Logan, but Logan decided to beat AJ to the punch, and he basically blew off AJ, said he doesn't associate with guys like AJ Styles. And he was getting the Dominic heat. They kept booing him when he was trying to talk. And then he talked about the John Cena heel turn, said that Cody Rhodes was dumb to reject The Rock. He said it took Cena 20 years to realize that last guys finish last. And then he said that he would sell his soul to The Rock if The Rock wanted to utilize Logan Paul. Then he pointed out this comedian, Andrew Schultz. And for a second, I thought this was former WWE star Simon Gotch of the Vaudevillains. Like, I've never heard of this guy, Andrew Schultz, before, but he's got the mustache and the short, dark hair. And Logan Paul asked him who he came to see. He said he came to see CM Punk versus Seth Rollins. He said nobody came to see Logan Paul. And then Logan, of course, attacked Schultz. And then AJ Styles ran down to make the save. He took out Logan Paul with the phenomenal forearm, and then he raised Schultz's hand. It's definitely looking like AJ Styles versus Logan Paul for WrestleMania, which is fine with me. Should be a fun match. Another athletic, flashy wrestler that Logan Paul can work with. You know, he's been in there with guys like Ricochet. Yeah, it makes sense for me. I'm down with it. We had a tornado tag team match. We had the New Day going up against Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee. Texas tornado match, so no tags. I like these matches. They're always to watch. Plenty of action in this one. New Day had the upper hand for a while. They sent Rey into the steel steps, and then Dragon Lee got double power bombed on the floor. But then, of course, LWO made their comeback, did some big moves. Xavier was sent off the apron with a Hurricane Rana. He basically crashed on the table, and then the table broke. So it was like a little bit of a delayed reaction from the table. I'm sure that'll be on Botchamania. Then Rey Mysterio took out Kofi with the 619. Then all of a sudden, we had a masked man show up. He had an American mask, and he beat the crap out of Dragon Lee and Rey Mysterio. And then he ran away from security. Security was trying to apprehend him, but he managed to escape. And of course, everybody was pointing their fingers at Chad Gable as the culprit. More on that in a few minutes. New Day, of course, took advantage, picked up the 1-2-3 victory. I liked the angle, and it wasn't Kurt Angle under that mask, although it could be. Actually, I don't know that for a fact. We'll get to that shortly. Backstage, we had Finn Balor with Judgment Day, and Dominic revealed that he got Finn Balor an IC title match for next week's Raw in Brussels, Belgium. Yes, WWE's European tour starts next week, and I do want to take note, let everybody know, next week I will be doing the live recaps of Monday Night Raw, and they will be early because next week Raw is airing at 3 p.m. Eastern. It's airing when the show takes place, no tape delay. So it's going to be like 8 o'clock in Belgium. Thus, it will be 3 p.m. in the United States. I'll be tweeting, posting updates on No DQ, and I will be going live right after the show ends. So it'll be like 5:45 Eastern time, just so you guys know. Right around dinner time, I'll be going live. And if you miss Raw, you have to check out the stream later. Or if you don't care, you could check out the stream. But just letting you guys know, I will be doing the stream right when Raw ends live next Monday. Keep in mind, it's special start time, 3 p.m. on Netflix. Let me get to the super chats here. D. Martin 5th sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, Chad Gable must have stolen the Patriot gimmick. Well, we don't know that that was Chad Gable. I'm just throwing it out there. But whoever this man is, was he ripping off the Patriot? Was he ripping off Mr. America? Is it Mr. America's son? It could be anybody. And 2015 MJESOM sent in a $2 super chat again. Thank you for that. Says, wasn't that El Virtuoso? He's a little bit more skilled in the ring than El Virtuoso. El Virtuoso, I'm not trying to rip into him too much, but this guy had some moves. El Virtuoso, he's more of a trash talker. He's like the Miz. This guy that attacked Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee, he felt like he had a lot of lucha experience, let's just say. And El Virtuoso is all about the trash talking and making sure his freedom of expression is heard. All right, let's get to the next segment here. We had Cody Rhodes come into the ring for a promo, and he brought up how John Cena was not there despite the show being in Madison Square Garden. But Cody Rhodes heard from John Cena's inner circle. Apparently, John Cena is going to be in Belgium on next week's show. Cody said it was an easy decision for John Cena to not be at Madison Square Garden. We got a dueling chant with some fans chanting, "Let's go Cena," others chanting, "Cena sucks." Full circle moment here. And then Cody brought up John's social media activity where John said you have to have the discipline to do what needs to be done, even if you don't feel like it. And he told John, "Sit down, you goddamn moron." And then he said that he's going to have the heartbreaking job of beating John Cena in John Cena's last attempt at the World Heavyweight Championship. And John Cena made it clear he is the captain now. Shout out to Michael, who sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that, Michael. Michael says, VKM takes off the mask and says, "It's me, Austin." Imagine that if it was Vince McMahon as this American luchador. That would be something else. But again, I know Vince is in good shape for an 80-year-old man, but this guy had some moves. I feel like this is somebody who's in the prime of his career, very athletic, very talented. He's just diabolical. So we'll see what happens with that, and we'll talk about that in just a few moments. Next up, we had Bayley versus Raquel. This match was okay, but the crowd did not care about this whatsoever. There was no heat for this. I was a little shocked. This is Madison Square Garden. You know what they say? Where the garden goes, that's where wrestling goes. They're ahead of the curve, and they did not care about this. Make that what you will. It was an okay match, another standard television match. You had the interference from Dominic and Liv Morgan, and that allowed Raquel to catch Bayley's dive, and she slammed her on the table and then sent her in the ring. Actually, Bayley beat the 10 count, but then was immediately pinned with the Tejana bomb. Not really sure where things are going for Bayley. Like, she loses to Raquel in a random match on Raw. Don't know what's in store for her. But yeah, it was unfortunate. Raquel wins. Whatever. Skippable segment. Backstage, we had Chad Gable. He was basically interrogated by Kathy Kelly, and she was accusing him of being the masked luchador. But then we saw in the background the masked luchador was being arrested, or at least escorted out of the building by security. So Chad Gable is not the mystery attacker. You guys can stop your your baseless accusations right now. Could it be Virtue? Could it be El Virtuoso? Sure. Could it be Vince McMahon? Could it be Mr. America's son? Could it be the Patriot's son? Could it be El Generico? Maybe El Generico traded gimmicks and went from being from Mexico to being from the United States. Maybe it's Bobby Lashley coming back to WWE. Maybe it's AJ Lee. You never know. I'm pretty sure it wasn't AJ Lee and it wasn't Bobby Lashley, but it could pretty much be anybody. Time will tell on this one. Maybe it's Rey Fenix. You never know who it's going to be. But yeah, this was a great segment. Very entertaining. And I'm looking forward to where this goes next. We had Io Sky interviewed in the ring by Michael Cole. And she talked about how the impossible became the possible. And she's over the moon now that she's going to WrestleMania. Then Michael Cole brought out Bianca Belair. And Michael Cole asked what happened last week. What was the deal with that? And Bianca didn't want to talk about it. She said that she's had enough drama for right now. And she apologized to Rhea for disrespecting her, but also made it clear Rhea shouldn't have put her hands on her. At this point, Rhea Ripley came out there and she wanted some answers. She wanted to know, was Bianca Belair helping Io because Bianca didn't want to face Rhea? Rhea said Bianca should have handled her own business with Naomi and Jade Cargill. Things got very heated between Bianca and Rhea, and Io Sky was trying to break things up, but then both of them like pie-faced her and shoved her away. So Io slapped both of them and then walked out of the ring. Pretty clear that it's heading towards a triple threat at this point, which is fine, but we also have another potential triple threat match, and I would have preferred singles matches, maybe even one triple threat, but two, it definitely feels like, okay, we got to get these people on the show. We're just going to throw them all into a storyline. Shout out to MJF, the Dark Horse, who sent in a $2 super chat. Says, I put my money on Rift L. Aronson. Shame on you for even mentioning Rift Aronson. I mean, you're technically right. It could be Rift Aronson. But I would be very upset if it was. And I'm really hoping that it's not Rift Aronson. And I damn you for even bringing up Rift Aronson. All right, main event time. Steel cage match. CM Punk versus Seth Rollins. They immediately started brawling, and Rollins took control when he gave Punk the buckle bomb into the cage. And then after the commercial break, one positive thing about this is we only got the one break. After the one break, we were in it for the duration. And it was a very good cage match. Now, it's coming off AEW. Virtue's going to roll his eyes at this one. But, I mean, this was going to be hard to even come close to that match. But they had a really good cage match without the blood and without any of the crazy stunts that we saw at Revolution. We had a lot of near falls. And they did both climb up on top of the cage, and Rollins did the superplex. You know, it's basically the same superplex. Punk is just a little bit higher up. And Rollins, to his credit, great upper body strength, got Punk in the position for that superplex. I mean, watch that clip. I was really impressed. Like, Rollins to have that power to hold Punk up and get him in the right position and not injure him. I mean, that's a great worker right there. I was actually really impressed with how Rollins handled that superplex spot. So watch that. Watch how Rollins gets him in the right exact position for the bump so Punk doesn't get injured. Really good stuff. And yeah, lots of near falls. They were kicking out. I think Rollins kicked out of like 3 GTSs, and then Punk was able to kick out of the stop. And they even used each other's moves. Punk hit Rollins with the stop, and Rollins was able to kick out of Punk's stomp, and then Punk was going to potentially go out the cage door, but then Rollins yelled at him, called him an asshole. They were censoring some things. They did not censor the a-hole, but I think there was a middle finger at one point. Each guy was inviting the other one to just walk out, and I believe there was a middle finger that got blacked out. I thought Netflix wasn't going to censor anything. Oh, well. But yeah, the asshole did make the air, and then Rollins regained the upper hand, hit the GTS, but Punk kicked out, and then Rollins came off the top with the super stomp and was on the verge of winning this, but then Roman Reigns made his return. Roman Reigns grabbed Rollins and pulled him out of the cage. Now, in doing this, Seth Rollins was technically the winner because Rollins, his feet hit the floor, thus he was the winner. Roman Reigns beat the hell out of Seth Rollins, gave him the curb stomp on the floor, and then wanted to do it on the steel steps, just like what Rollins did to him at the Royal Rumble. But then Adam Pearce ran down there with all the officials. Then in the ring, this is where it got interesting. Paul Heyman was checking on CM Punk, and Roman Reigns was irate. Roman Reigns got in the ring, and he beat up CM Punk, threw CM Punk repeatedly into the cage, and Roman Reigns stood tall over both CM Punk and Seth Rollins as the show went off the air. So yes, it does in fact look like another triple threat match as we were expecting. By the way, the This Guy Experience sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. It says, it was me, Aaron. It was me all along. Double trio. This guy, it better not be you. I'm going to be very disappointed if you attacked Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee. You're a really nice guy. I can't imagine you would do something that dastardly. But thank you for the super chat. We all pretty much knew this was coming with Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins. They're going to do the triple threat at WrestleMania. And it was a predictable ending. I expected Roman Reigns to show up. And I did think Seth Rollins would get the win since Punk won the match on the Netflix premiere. It was executed well, though. I will give them that. Building Nexus sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. It says, not sure you can turn CM Punk with heel John Cena around. I don't think they're turning Punk. I mean, in this match, if anybody's going to turn, I think it would be Rollins. But I could see this being a match where it's just all three of them as faces, and they're going to use their natural dislike of each other to tell the story. And now we got Paul Heyman. Is he going to be with Roman Reigns? Is he going to be with CM Punk? So I do like that aspect of it. All in all, I thought Raw was a pretty good show. I was a little disappointed just because of the fact that it was Madison Square Garden, and I was hoping for like an all-time great episode of Raw, and I don't quite think they got to that level. I agree with Jerry. It's a 7 out of 10. It was a very good Raw, but I think it fell a little bit short of being an all-time great Monday Night Raw. The main event was very good. I don't think it was as good as the Revolution match, but you know, they can't do all that blood and violence. You know, you just can't compete with that. But they did the best they could. A lot of near falls in the match, and it was a pretty safe worked match. So that's a positive. They did the Roman Reigns angle, which was good. I did like that. And I like the Chad Gable stuff. All that was worth checking out. The rest of Raw was kind of forgettable. Jey Uso, Gunther, they need more. They need to work on that. The women's championship, if they're going to do a triple threat, I hope they can do more with that. And then the other stuff was kind of just there, Bailey and Raquel, whatever. 7 out of 10. I'm hoping the European shows are great. John Cena comes back next week, and those European crowds are always really hot. Hopefully things will get really hot as we draw closer to WrestleMania. There was a comment here, Gunther attacking Rikishi. I like that. I mean, they got to do something that we're going to remember. Gunther just beats him down. Gunther just keeps beating him up every week. Like, it's just a basic angle. Like, you got to do more than that. It's WrestleMania season. So I would actually like that a lot. That's an idea right there, to get Rikishi involved and let Gunther just beat Rikishi within an inch of his life. I'd be down for that. I don't know if Rikishi can even take a bump. That's the thing, though. At his age, they might not even clear him to do any physical activity. That might not even be possible, unfortunately. But it would be a great angle if they could do it. Shout out to Building Nexus, who sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, not sure you can turn CM Punk with heel Cena around. I did mention that. They're not going to turn Punk. Punk's extremely over right now. No need to do that whatsoever. They're likely going to have CM Punk feud with John Cena post WrestleMania. That's my prediction. MJ the Dark Horse sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, Rikishi would just complain that he got hit too hard. He probably would, or Rikishi would no sell it. Like, he'd be put in the sleeper and then he'd immediately pop up and not even sell it like he was damn near killed, because it's Rikishi. That's what Rikishi does. But thank you for that super chat. I was asked about NXT. So we're doing the No DQ review at 7 p.m. Eastern. I will be discussing NXT on Wednesday night. When I do the Dynamite recap, I'll also be giving my thoughts on the NXT Roadblock show. That will be Wednesday night when I discuss Dynamite and NXT. So check that out Wednesday night, and then Tuesday night, No DQ review. We'll be talking about the Roman Reigns storyline with CM Punk and Seth Rollins and the WrestleMania direction. Tune in for that Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. And that's all I got for tonight. Thank you all for tuning in. I very much appreciate your viewership and support. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest news and rumors. Say yes to No DQ, and I will see you all next time.